There is someone on your heart right now. You know who it is. You did not even have to think about it. The name came before I finished the sentence, and you have tried to let go. You have. You have surrendered this person at the foot of the altar. You have named them in adoration. You have laid them down at the end of your rosary more times than you can count. And every time, somewhere between the kneeler and the car, you pick them back up again, not because you are faithless, because you love them, and because somewhere underneath all of that love is a fear you have never fully said out loud. If I truly let go, something terrible will happen. If I stop holding, nobody will. Stay with me today, because I am going to show you what surrender actually is, what it actually does, and how to do it once, fully, completely, and for real. Let me start by saying something that I do not think you have heard nearly enough. You are not weak for still holding on. You are not spiritually immature. You are not failing God. You love this person. And when you love someone the way you love them, with that particular ache, that particular prayer, that particular kind of worry that wakes you up at 3 a.m, holding on does not feel like a problem. It feels like faithfulness. It feels like intercession. It feels like refusing to abandon someone God entrusted to you. And I want to honor that. I want you to hear me say, the love underneath the grip is holy. The love is not the problem. The grip is because somewhere along the way, and you probably cannot name the exact moment, the holding became something different. It stopped being an open hand lifted toward God and became a closed fist pulled tight against your chest. And you have been carrying the weight of that ever since. Not just the weight of the situation, the weight of believing that if you let go, the whole thing collapses. A mother whose son has grown cold, a woman whose marriage is held together by prayer and sheer will, a daughter watched a parent drift, a wife who has been strong for everyone in the house and has nothing left at night except tears and a rosary. You know who you are, and you know that person is still there, right there in your chest, present every morning before you even fully wake up. Can I tell you the truth? The thing that has kept you in this cycle is not weakness, and it is not lack of faith. It is a lie, a very specific, very destructive lie that sounds like love, but functions like a chain. And we need to name it today, because you cannot be free from something you cannot see clearly. The lie is this: if I surrender this person, I am giving up on them. Say that slowly. Feel how familiar that sounds. If I surrender this person, I am giving up on them. If I open my hands, I am abandoning them. If I stop gripping, I am saying I do not care anymore. And underneath that, if God is holding them instead of me, something will fall through the cracks. Something will be missed. Something I would have caught, God might not. I need you to hear how dangerous that belief is. Not dangerous because it is sinful. Dangerous because it is a direct attack on the character of God. It is saying quietly, without meaning to, I am a better guardian of this person than the one who made them. I love them more carefully than he does. My grip is more reliable than his hands. And if you have been living inside that belief, and some of you have been living inside it for years, it has not just exhausted you. It has functioned as a ceiling over the very situation you have been praying about. Every time you take back what you offered God, you are drawing a line and saying, I trust you with everything except this. I surrender everything except him. I believe in your providence, but not for her. Not yet. Not until I can see how it ends. That exception, that one thing, that is the very place the enemy has been working. Now stay with me, because this is where it gets deeper, and I do not want you to miss it. I want to take you somewhere in Scripture that I think you have read before but may not have felt the way I want you to feel it today. Genesis 22, Abraham and Isaac. I want you to set aside everything you know about how this story ends, because Abraham did not know how it ended. He woke up that morning and received a word from God that he did not understand, that he could not explain, and that required him to carry the person he loved most in the world up a mountain, with no promise of what would happen at the top, no preview, no explanation, no guarantee except the voice of God asking him to trust. And I want you to think about what that walk up the mountain felt like. Isaac beside him, the wood on his back, every step a choice, every moment a chance to turn around, to reason his way out of it, to find a justification for holding on. He loved that boy. Isaac was the son of his old age, the child of the promise, the one Abraham had waited decades for. There was nothing casual about what God was asking him to do. This was the one thing, the thing Abraham had held the longest and the tightest, and he kept walking. He did not have the resurrection yet. He did not know about the ram. He did not know that the moment of full surrender was also the moment of full provision. He only knew the altar was there and God had spoken. And here is what I need you to receive. Write this down if you have to. The ram was already in the thicket. The provision was already there, but he could not see it while the person he loved was still gripped tight in his own hands. Some of you are in exactly that place right now. God has already moved. God has already positioned something for the person you are holding. God has already begun a work in them that you cannot see from where you are standing. But your hands are so full of worry, full of control, full of the weight of trying to manage the outcome, that you cannot receive what He is trying to give you. You cannot see what He is already doing. The miracle is on the other side of your open hands. Now let me help somebody who is sitting with this and saying, yes, but I have surrendered before. I have opened my hands before. I have prayed those prayers and laid them down. And the very next day, I was right back where I started. I know that cycle. I know it personally. And I have walked with women through it for a long time. Here is what actually happens. You surrender genuinely. You feel the peace. And then 3 days later, or 3 weeks, or sometimes 3 hours, something shifts. The person you surrendered goes quieter, or the situation gets worse instead of better, or a fear comes in the night that catches you off guard. And before you even realize what you are doing, love moves faster than faith, and your hand reaches back in. Not from sin, from fear, from love that has not yet learned to trust God with the worst-case version of how this ends. That is the moment. That is the precise moment where surrender either deepens into something real or collapses back into the cycle. And most women never name that moment for what it is. They just feel like they failed again. They feel like surrender does not work for them. They feel like they are too broken or too attached or too far gone to ever really let go. You are not. You are just at the beginning of learning what surrender actually is. Not a feeling, not a one-time emotional moment at a retreat, a daily posture, an ongoing choice, a returning again and again to the altar. Not because the first surrender failed, but because love keeps reaching and faith keeps calling it back. Let me tell you what surrender is not, because I think this is where most women get lost. Surrender is not abandonment. It does not mean you stop loving them, stop praying for them, stop showing up. You can still love fiercely. You can still intercede without ceasing. You can still pick up the phone, write the letter, sit at the table. Surrender is not about your presence in their life. It is about your posture before God. The difference between holding and surrendering is not what you do. It is what you believe. Holding says, I am responsible for how this turns out. Surrendering says, God is responsible for how this turns out, and I trust Him with it. You can still be in the middle of this situation with every bit of your love fully engaged, but from open hands, from a posture that says, Lord, I am here. I love this person, and I give the outcome to you. That is not passivity. That is the most powerful spiritual position you can occupy. Because here is the truth I need you to carry out of this message today. You are not protecting them by holding on. You are not keeping them safer by gripping tighter. What you are doing, and I say this with every bit of tenderness I have, is placing yourself between them and God. And as long as you are standing there with your arms full, God is waiting, not because He cannot work, but because He will not override the trust you have withheld. The question is not whether you love this person enough to hold on. The question is whether you trust God enough to let Him hold them instead. Now, I want to walk you through what surrender actually looks like, not as a concept, not as a theological idea you file away and think about later, as a moment, as a decision, as something real that is going to happen before this message is over, if you let it. Because I think some of you have been waiting for the feeling of readiness before you surrender. You have been waiting until it does not hurt so much, until you feel strong enough, until the fear quiets down enough that letting go does not feel like falling. And I need to tell you gently, but directly, that moment is not coming first. The peace comes after the open hands, not before them. You do not feel ready and then surrender. You surrender and then you feel what ready actually is. So stay with me. We are going to get there together. I want to bring Our Lady into this room, not the serene image on the holy card, the real woman, the mother standing at the foot of the cross. She did not understand what was happening. She did not have the resurrection yet. She could not see Sunday from Friday. She was standing at the worst moment a mother can stand in, watching someone she carried, someone she nursed, someone she raised in the faith and walked with to the temple and followed through dusty roads for years. And she could not stop it. She could not fix it. She could not pull him down. She could not step in front of it. And she stayed. She did not run. She did not turn away. She stood there, open, present, loving with everything she had. And she did not try to be the one holding him up. She let God be God, even when God looked like loss. That is what is being asked of you. Not to stop loving, not to stop being near, but to stop trying to be the one holding them up, to stop carrying what only God was ever meant to carry, to stand at the foot of whatever cross this person is on right now, and trust Thee, one who is working in ways you cannot yet see. Now let me take you to John chapter 11, because I need you to feel this. Mary sends word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love, is sick. And Jesus waits. He does not rush. He does not come immediately. He stays where he is for 2 more days. And Lazarus dies, and the family grieves. And by the time Jesus arrives, Martha comes out to meet him and says, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. I need you to hear that sentence in Martha's voice, not as doctrine, as a woman who loved someone and watched him get worse while she was waiting for God to show up. Lord, if you had been here. Lord, if you had moved sooner. Lord, I prayed, I believed, I waited, and it still got worse. Is that familiar? Is there someone in your life right now about whom you have been saying some version of that? Lord, I have been praying for this child for 20 years, and he is further from you than when I started. Lord, I surrendered this marriage, and it is still falling apart. Lord, I laid her down, and nothing changed. God's delay is not God's absence. God's silence is not God's indifference. What looks like loss may be the setup for something that could not have happened any other way. Jesus wept at the tomb of Lazarus. He was not unmoved. He was not distant. He knew exactly what he was about to do, and he still wept because he saw the grief of the people he loved. He felt it. And then he said, "Roll away the stone." What is rolled away on the other side of your surrender may be something you cannot imagine from where you are standing today. Not because God is holding out on you, but because some things cannot be rolled away while you are still standing at the door with your hands pressed against it. This next part is for the woman who has been so strong for so long that she has forgotten what it feels like to put something down. You have been the one holding the family together. You have been the one praying when no one else was praying. You have been the one at Mass dressed and composed, while something inside you was coming apart. You have been the one the children call when everything goes wrong, the one the husband leans on, the one your friends turn to. And somewhere in all of that strength, in all of that faithful caring, you forgot that you were allowed to lay something down. You started to believe, without ever quite saying it, that the whole structure would collapse if your hands came off it for even a moment. It will not collapse. God was there before your grip. He will be there after it. I want to tell you about a woman, and I am telling you the shape of this, because it is a shape many of you will know. A woman who had been praying for her son for 11 years, not casually, faithfully. The rosary every morning, his name at every Mass, adoration on her knees with his face in her mind, and his name on her lips before God. And nothing seemed to change. He was still cold, still distant, still living in a way that broke her heart every time she thought about it. And every time she tried to surrender him, she would feel a moment of peace. And then the next phone call would come, or she would hear something from his friends, or she would see a photograph on someone else's phone, and she would be right back there, gripping, worrying, caring. Until one night she told me later she had simply run out of arguments, run out of strategies, run out of energy to manage it anymore. She got down on her knees next to her bed, not at adoration, not at a retreat, not in any dramatic setting, just next to her bed in the quiet. And she said out loud, "Lord, I cannot do this anymore. I do not know how to love him and hold him at the same time. I give him to you. I give you the worst version of how this ends. He was yours before he was mine. Take him back." And she told me that what came next was not an answer. It was not a phone call from her son. It was not a sign or a dream or a dramatic resolution. It was simply peace. A peace she had not felt in 11 years. Not because anything changed that night, because she stopped being the one responsible for changing it. She changed. That was the first change, and it was the one that made room for everything else. Do not move past that too quickly, because I think some of you have been waiting for the situation to change before you let yourself feel peace. And what God is saying to you today is, the peace comes when you change. The peace comes when the posture changes. The situation may take time, but the freedom is available to you right now, today, in this moment, before anything in that person's life looks different. Now I want to walk you through this, practically, really. Not a formula, a moment. I want you to think of this person, the one who came to mind at the very beginning, the one you have been carrying. Name them before God right now, not out loud in the comments, just in your heart. Let their name be the prayer. Just Lord and their name. Now say what you have been holding, not to explain it to God, He already knows, but to hear yourself say it. I have been holding this because I am afraid that if I let go, he will drift further. I have been holding this because I do not know who I am without carrying her. I have been holding this because I promised I would never give up. I have been holding this because I love him, and I do not know another way to show it. Say it. Say the real thing. And then say this. Say it out loud if you can. Say, Lord, I give you what I cannot fix. I give you who I cannot save. I give you the outcome I cannot control. I trust you with the worst version of how this ends. Take them. They were yours before they were mine, and they are yours now. Open your hands. Physically, if you are somewhere you can do that, let your hands open. Let that be a prayer in your body, not just in your mind. Declare this with me. I release what I cannot carry. I trust God with who I love. My open hands are an act of faith, not abandonment. God holds them now. Say it again if you need to. Say it until something in your chest loosens. Now let me pray over you. Lord, I bring before you every woman who is watching this right now and who just put something down for the first time in a long time. You know exactly who she has been carrying. You know the years of prayer, the sleepless nights, the rosaries prayed in the dark, the masses attended with a smile on her face, and an ache in her chest that never fully goes away. You know how much she loves this person, and Lord, you love this person more. I ask you to pour out your peace over her right now. Not the peace that depends on the situation changing, the peace that passes understanding, the peace that holds even when nothing looks different yet. Give her that peace, Lord. Let her feel it as a physical settling in her body, a loosening of the grip she has carried so long she forgot it was a choice. For the mother whose child has gone cold, Lord, you are still working. That child is not beyond your reach. The prayers this mother has prayed are not lost. They are alive before you. They are not wasted. For the wife who has been holding a marriage together with nothing but prayer and faithfulness, Lord, see her. Honor what she has carried. And give her the grace now to put it in your hands fully, not partially, not with one finger still wrapped around the edge. For the woman who has tried surrender before and taken it back, Lord, this is the moment she does it differently. This is the moment the cycle breaks. Give her the grace to surrender not just the person, but the outcome. Not just the love, but the fear underneath it. Take it all, Lord, for the woman who is afraid that if she opens her hands, she will have nothing left. Lord, let her find out that open hands are not empty hands. They are the hands you fill. They are the hands that finally have room to receive what you have been trying to give. And over every woman in this place who has been strong for everyone else and has forgotten what it feels like to be held, Lord, hold her today. She has been carrying so much for so long. Let this be the day she is carried. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. You have been faithful to hold. Now be faithful to release. God can do more with one moment of your surrender than with years of your grip. The ram is already in the thicket. You just cannot see it yet because your hands are still full. Open them. Let God show you what He has already prepared. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is giving over. And the moment you give over, fully, really, with the worst case outcome included, is the moment God's hands become the only hands holding them. Your prayers are not wasted. Your love is not lost. The story is not over. And God is not done. I am not done walking with you through this either. Next time we are going to sit together in what it looks like to live with open hands after the surrender. Because letting go is one step, and learning not to take it back is the next. And that is a conversation worth having. I will see you there.